I lost money. Other friends lost a lot of money. It was
right.
not a pleasant weekend.
It'll be all right.
It was not a pleasant weekend.
For Complex News, I'm Pierce Simpson. I'm joined here by my guy, Complex Sports Editor, Mr. Adam Caparel. Cap, how you feeling, brother?
You know, in these streets.
I'm with it. This weekend marks the NFL Championship round of the playoffs. Only 4 teams left here in the playoffs before the advance to the Super Bowl. Last week, we took a beating. We predicted pretty much all underdogs would win.
We gave horrendous picks, so we like to apologize for that, first and foremost.
Almost every underdog lost, whether it was the Colts, the Chargers, or the Cowboys. Taking things back to last weekend, what was your biggest surprise of what happened in the divisional round?
Biggest surprise, definitely the Chargers, because I was so heavy on them and thought that they were going to come to play. And the fact that we saw a team quit in the first quarter of like a playoff game, that's kind of like unprecedented. Like, when's the last time we saw a team just pretty much throw in the towel after 10 or 12 minutes of game action?
Especially a team that many people believe was the most stacked at every position on the field. A lot of people had the Chargers picked to go to the Super Bowl, especially how well they played the previous week in Baltimore and just throughout the season. So it'll be interesting to see what they do this offseason. My biggest surprise was the fact that, it's going to sound like a homer pick, but
I knew you were going anyway, but go ahead.
You know, it's the fact that the Los Angeles Rams ran for over 270 yards against the Cowboys. It was a pretty dominant effort. They kind of flipped the script on them, held the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, surprising too, that they kind of held them relatively in check with their running game also.
Yeah, and I guess we have to give props to the fans of Los Angeles, because even though the Cowboys fans showed up, LA Rams fans showed up too.
It wasn't the most, it wasn't over the top where the stadium was basically half filled with Cowboys fans. So yes, LA fans, we shit on you last week. We have to give you some props, because actually you filled up the Coliseum relatively stout with a lot of Rams fans.
Absolutely, we have to give them props. So keeping things in an NFC Championship game would take place in one of the best cities in America, New Orleans, Louisiana, as the New Orleans Saints would take on the Los Angeles Rams. They played earlier this season in a shootout. Do we expect much of the same heading into this weekend's matchup?
I kind of want to flip the script and go contrarian and say no, you see a kind of close game. If the effort that the Rams showed defensively, they can bring that again, which could be, bit of a big if, because we've seen some inconsistent performances out of them. But if you see them able to stifle the run game a little bit, and one thing I'm really anxious to see is Drew Brees' ability to go down the field.
Right.
Now, Drew Brees has the reputation of being this guy that can sling it left and right, but if you've been watching him at age 40 now, the arm strength isn't there.
Oh, he hasn't had it for a
couple years now. And their underthrows were bad, like
you
saw last week. You've seen it, down the stretch of the season. So I'm kind of curious to see what the Rams defense can do, what kind of pressure they can bring to him. And if you force Drew Brees to go down the field, what can that secondary of the Rams do, take advantage of some underthrows, and put Drew in positions where he's not built right now at age 40 to succeed? I
think the thing that works in New Orleans' favor, though, is the fact that even though Drew Brees does lack the arm strength, their offense is very lateral. They have Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas. They love a lot of crossing routes. Marcus Peters is very susceptible in the secondary to blown coverages. He's talked a lot of trash throughout the season. He talked trash about Amari Cooper last week, said he choked him out.
So you're picking the Rams?
I'm actually picking the Saints.
You're picking the Saints?
I'm picking the Saints. I think they're clicking right now. I think that was a tough matchup they had against the Philadelphia Eagles last week. I'm curious about the Rams traveling on the road, and it just might be New Orleans this year. You never know.
I'll say this. It's very tough to beat a team 2 times in a year.
Absolutely.
Because the team that comes in with a loss obviously knows what they have to fix and what they have to improve upon. So you game plan differently than they did the first game. And generally, the consensus is that the team that lost has the advantage going into the rematch. So I will say that with the line being 3.5 right now and you're getting the hook, I would lean towards taking the Rams plus 3.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull off the upset in the Superdome.
You talked about taking the Rams. I kind of said that it was a blowout. I might have misspoke a little bit, because you're right. You convinced me. I think it might be a close game. I know I'm talking out the side of my neck right now, but I don't think the Rams ran the ball quite as well as they did early in the season, like they showed against the Cowboys, and potentially that they can show in New Orleans. So if they can control the time of possession, make it an ugly game, they might be able to win this one. So, but I'm still taking the Saints.
I think it's a close one. I'll take the Rams 3.5, and again, wouldn't be surprised if you see an outright win for the Rams.
Is this our first time going against each other when it comes to our predictions?
No, I think we go against each other a lot. I think
okay, so you got the Rams.
Yeah,
I got the Saints.
I'm anxious to see what we pick for the next game, but go ahead.
Okay, so moving things to the AFC, we have the matchup between the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's expected to be below 0 in Kansas City. A very cold game. A very cold game. Who cares?
A very cold weather squads. Hand wave that nonsense. That is don't even factor that into your handicapping unless you're talking about the over/under.
But it's 2 things. Brady has shown that he doesn't necessarily play well in the cold weather.
What about last week?
At his age.
What about last week?
It's colder in Kansas City this week.
I know it's colder, but still, it's cold last week.
It was cold last week, but in the 20s. This might be below 0 in Kansas City.
He has the size quadruple XL jacket to keep warm on the sidelines.
And also, his last time going on the road in the playoffs, I believe, was 2015 against the Denver Broncos before they won in Super Bowl 50. That was not an impressive performance by Tom Brady.
Well, I'll give you a stat off the top why I'm not picking the Patriots and why I'm going with the Chiefs in this game, I should say. The last time the Patriots won an AFC Championship game on the road was 2004.
And don't tell me, was it Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's been an eternity since they've done that.
15 years.
Yes. So the formula for the Patriots has been get home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yep.
Ride it, take care of business in the AFC Championship, go to the Super Bowl. Yep. So the fact they're on the road in the AFC Championship game, which they haven't won in over a decade. Yep. I don't see a reason why to pick the Patriots. Now, obviously, last week I was dead wrong about them and the Chargers, so maybe I'm cold right now. Yeah. But the Chiefs obviously have plenty of momentum. Patrick Mahomes didn't look shook at all being a rookie in his first playoff game. He's at home, and again, you go back to my theory of the first game in the NFC Championship game. It's much easier and sets up better for the team that lost the first time around to win the second time around. So all that, you're taking all your mistakes, you're learning your game plan a little bit different. I am worried about Andy Reid somehow screwing things up because that is Andy Reid's brand. But that being said, the way the Chiefs defense showed up against the Colts, who were a hot team offensively coming into the game, and if they get some pass rush against Brady, which basically the Chargers got none, do that with Mahomes at home and his creativity against a still suspect Patriots defense, I don't know why you take the Chiefs.
I thought you made a great point just now about the Chiefs defense showing up. They showed a great pass rush against the Indianapolis Colts, who many people believe has the best offensive line in football, and their secondary came to play. A lot of young guys in that back end, but they still played well, locked down the Colts receiver, even though T.Y. Hilton.
Like you saw coverage sacks. You saw luck and ability to he would, rolling out of the pocket and just had no one to go to or throwing the ball away or running out of bounds. I mean, the Chiefs defense legit came to play like we hadn't seen in a while.
They came to play, and the fact that Patrick Mahomes on the offensive side of the ball is so improvisational with his ability to extend plays, get outside the pocket. Tyreek Hill's crossing across the field. He's able to launch it 60 yards or hit Travis Kelce. I think there's so many facets of the Kansas City Chiefs offense that is going to be tough for New England to combat that, and I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs in this.
Yeah, I mean, it's always suspect going against the Patriots when they're getting points when they're the underdog, because it's like, why would you not take the Patriots?
Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's like Tom Brady had to go against Tom Brady. But again, on the road against a superior offensive team, a team I think that can do a lot more. And again, if the defense comes to play in any way, shape, and form, the way they came to play against the Colts, I'm loving the Chiefs -3 on Sunday.
Now, who's your breakout player for this championship round of the NFL playoffs amongst the 4 teams?
Basically, it comes down to this for me. If Todd Gurley, and again, this is like the obvious X factor here, but if Todd Gurley gets going in any way, shape, and form and can really establish the run, and that opens up Goff, and we saw him be okay against the Cowboys, I'll put that as my X factor, which is kind of a lame out and kind of the easy way to go about doing it, but like it's still, everything for them is predicated on Todd Gurley getting going. And if he starts showing what he is capable of and is running for 100+ yards, then I don't see why the Rams go and take care of business, or at least cover the spread.
What about the AFC Championship game?
I'll put it this way. I say it's the Patriots secondary. Okay. Now they have some talent, McCourty brother, it's like you have guys that can do some things, but again, Pat Mahomes is so difficult to number one, game plan for, and then number two, actually defend in the flesh with the arm angles, the rolling out, how crafty he gets, throwing it left-handed sometimes. It's like, it's incredibly difficult to defend him and to be on your game and to not screw up at some point for 64 minutes. So I would put the X factor on the Patriots secondary and how well they can man up with the really crafty, really sneaky receivers and wideouts for the Chiefs, and then how you work with Mahomes and how, like, it's crazy. A second-year guy, and we see him, like, look off guys and do these crazy, almost no-look passes where it's like, no one does that.
I mean, MVP of the league so far.
He should be, yeah.
MVP, over 50 touchdowns, over 5,000 yards passing in his first full season as a starter.
He should be one. If he doesn't win the MVP, like, just dead the award. There's no reason why he, like, I don't want to hear Drew Brees, anybody else. Like, Pat Mahomes should be the NFL MVP.
Facts. My X factor for the NFC Championship game will be Michael Thomas for the New Orleans Saints. He's the engine that keeps things going. I believe he has the most first down catches in the NFL, and he's just a chain mover, man. The fact that he can extend possessions for the New Orleans Saints, that will be a big factor. He's
kind of quasi become like Drew Brees' like security blanket. Like,
he is, absolutely, without question. He's just very consistent, and he was over 100 yards in their divisional matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles. As for the AFC, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs run game. If the weather's bad, if the terrain's bad, obviously it didn't affect them last week against the Colts. If it's worse in the AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots, you got to pound the rock. They did a great job last week. I think it'll be much of the same. And it's been impressive the fact that their leading rusher, Kareem Hunt, it was pretty much released, cut, and
he's been gone for a while now.
For a while, and could very well be suspended by the NFL. So Kansas City Chiefs run game would be my X factor in the AFC Championship game. Final question for you, Cap. Of the 4 teams, which team's championship window is closing? which one is like this their last chance to maybe get a Super Bowl push?
I think I know where you're going. I'm probably going to say the Saints.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that just because Drew Brees, I think we're starting to see a little bit of diminished skills.
But can you say
at
that
age
about
40.
the Patriots?
No, because I don't think Tom Brady has really had a major drop-off. Now, we've seen some fluctuations in his game, like over the years, where you've seen him, like, ebb and flow, and you have these peaks and valleys where it's like, 1 week he'll look completely washed up, and the next week, like, he just has his resurgence. But I feel like you're definitely seeing a regression in Drew Brees' arm strength, and also it's just like, I feel like every year we just don't know what we're going to get from like the New Orleans defense. And remember, 2 years ago, we're not that far removed from them being one of the worst defenses in NFL history.
That's true.
So it's like that can change up so quickly. So I'm going to say the Saints, and the fact that last year they should have been in the NFC Championship game. Obviously a missed tackle in the final, Minnesota Miracle. When you get to two straight NFC Championship games, that means like obviously you're capitalizing on a now moment, and that window in my mind is about to close.
Yeah, they had a great 2017 draft class, a lot of starters in that class. They traded their first-round pick for Marcus Davenport, so they won't have one this year. But the executive has shown that they do a good job drafting. So maybe Teddy Bridgewater could be the heir apparent, or they find another quarterback soon.
But as talented as Teddy is, it's a major come down from the whole Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Because you can make a case, and we've done this on Complex Sports, you can go check it out. You can make a case that Drew Brees is the greatest of all time. Now, he's never going to match up in terms of Super Bowl championships with Tom Brady and Joe Montana, but in terms of numbers from regular season-wise, you can easily make a case that Drew Brees is the GOAT.
Guess where 2 of the 4 quarterbacks are from that's remaining in the playoffs?
Texas?
Great state of Texas. I had a shout out my state. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs have the biggest window, in my opinion, when it comes to competing for championships. My statement for the team whose window is closing is going to be very surprising. It's the Los Angeles Rams.
And I'm curious to hear why.
Yeah, if you look at their cap situation, all of championship windows are predicated on cap situations. NFL has a very hard cap. Jared Goff is upcoming for a contract. Aaron Donald's already been paid, one of the second highest paid defender in NFL history. Todd Gurley has been paid. Marcus Peters is up for a contract. Aqib Talib and Ndamukong Suh. Those are some pillar pieces of your defense. If those players are gone next year, what's the Rams' defense looking like?
But maybe
they paid Brandon Cooks.
But maybe some overrated pieces on defense also.
Very well could be overrated. But who are you replacing those starters with?
Those guys are much more replaceable than obviously a Jared Goff, a Todd Gurley, and some of the more skilled position players.
So if you have Todd Gurley paid, if you have Aaron Donald paid, if you have Brandon Cooks paid, you're allocating a lot of salary cap.
You are 1,000,000%.
And then you have to pay Jared Goff.
But you still have your 2 best players set in stone, in Todd Gurley and Aaron Donald.
To play devil's advocate, we've seen running backs fall off a cliff.
They have, yes, but Todd Gurley he's not even 25 yet.
Yeah, but we never know running backs.
I know, true.
We never know.
True.
So that's my opinion. I think
and they still have the boy wonder Sean McVay, who's going to be coaching, for all eternity.
He's getting all his friends hired. Which on one hand, I like.
Again, I heard a joke somewhere. If you took a picture with Sean McVay, you probably got an interview this year with an NFL team.
Like the guy, Zach Taylor, who's going to be like the head coach of Cincinnati Bengals, and he was like the assistant wide receivers
quarterback control coach, some shit like that.
Bro, what? And he's going to lead a team?
Yeah.
What kind of mess is that?
If you have Sean McVay in your cell phone, you probably got dialed up this year by an NFL
And mind you, Sean McVay has 1 playoff win. And that happened this year.
But the NFL's a copycat league. We know that.
So we'll see what happens this weekend during the NFL Championship round. Cap, I appreciate you stopping by, brother.
As always.
Hopefully these picks will help people recoup some of the money. Maybe you can recoup some of the money.
Yeah, send all refunds and receipts to the Chargers defense because they're the one that owe you, not me.
You can't escape that.
No. That's totally on the Chargers defense.
It does not work like that.
They threw in the towel in the first quarter. That's how it works.
How are you going to tell them to pick something, and then the team that didn't come through for you say blame them?
You know what? Use better judgment then.
For Adam Caparell, I'm Pierce Simpson. We'll see you soon. Peace.